Folks, welcome to the very first Three Wise Men. This show is being brought to you by my co-host, Scott.
Hi.
And my good guest friend, William.
Hi, everyone.
This show is all about, well, based around, you've seen that show on telly called Loose Women?
I haven't seen that show.
Okay, sorry, Will. Don't.
Is it an American show?
Don't on my chips.
Sorry,
I think I broadly understand the premise of it. Which I think I saw some poor guy sat in the middle of three women, and they were talking about a subject that he knew nothing about.
Okay, but basically,
really
it's a TV show, and what they do, and they pick on subjects of the moment.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about them.
Okay.
And this is to level up the scales a little bit where male and female are concerned, because I believe that Lichfield Radio has a show called The Three Wise Women.
That they do, yeah.
Yeah, second only to The Three Wise Men.
Well, I mean, they're going to be really good, aren't they? And
They are going to be
really
absolutely brilliant.
Have they not started? Yeah.
No, not yet.
So we've got the... Or do they have the upper hand because they can listen to this show?
They won't listen to this show.
Okay.
They're far too confident.
Hold on a minute. What have I told you about our listeners? Everyone's
We don't have
this
any.
show. Anyway,
Yes.
So this week we're going to talk about knighthoods. And we're going to talk about knighthoods because of the recent knighting of the very, very, very famous David Beckham. William, can you fill us in on a bit of history where knighthoods are concerned?
Yeah, so I thought to start with, I'd actually take us through the history of where knighthoods come from, because when Steve sent me over this idea to record this show, I knew what a knighthood was because, we all know Arise or Arise Dame, and we all know, what being a knight is or what that meant in the medieval times, but I didn't really know much about it. So I've done a little bit of an overview. In the post, can we put in some sort of underlying cool tunes or music to accompany this?
Oh yeah,
explainer?
Bit of what's that instrument with it's like half a gourd?
Oh right, going for like the traditional. I was going to go for like some sort of Mario Kart theme.
Oh no, I like Mario Kart. That sounds cool.
What about a Mario Kart on a bagpipe? Anyway, so going back to the medieval era, Steve is very confused.
You could park a bike
This is the explainer. So between the 8th and the 11th century, the concept of a knight originated in these early Middle Ages, linked to heavily armoured cavalry, serving lords, ladies, and obviously the monarchy as well. The term comes from an Old English word which means servant or soldier. And actually, if you think about the similarity between servant and soldier, I've never noticed how similar those words are. So knights swore oaths and their loyalty to lords, offering military service in exchange for land or often just protection. Eventually, as warfare became more advanced and medieval knights were a thing of the past, the evolution of a knighthood became more of an honour. So by the Tudor and Stuart periods, the 16th to the 17th centuries in England, knighthood shifted from a military status to an honorary title granted by the monarch for service or for merit, which kind of sets the scene for where it goes to today. But the tradition of dubbing a knight with a sword on the shoulder during an investiture ceremony, which is the formal event where the recipients of the honour receive it and are personally presented with that honour, usually by the monarch or the Prince of Wales, stems from those earlier rituals. Coming into the modern era, this continues nowadays as part of the British honour system awarded by the monarchy, which is currently King Charles, for outstanding contributions in public services, arts and sciences, charity and philanthropy, business and community leadership, and obviously what we're talking about today in sport. And there are several orders, the most prominent being the Order of the Garter, which was formed in 1348. And there's the Order of the Bath, 1725. There's the Order of St. Michael and St. George in 1818, and the Order of the British Empire. And it's like a hierarchy of where you go to. And actually, the Order of the Garter, there's only 21 knights within that, knights or dames within that order, whereas the Order of the British Empire is the one where more commonly people like celebrities and Sir David Beckham get involved in.
I'd like an Order of the Garter because it's the highest and oldest order of chivalry.
It is. So it relates...
So how'd you get that then?
Well, it relates to... well, obviously to chivalry, but get that one, it's the oldest and most prestigious order, and the membership is limited to the monarch, the Prince of Wales, 24 companions, and the famous members, it's like outstanding public service. So famous members have been Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher, Prince William, and sort of that level. Then you've got the Most Honourable Order of the Bath, which I don't think has anything to do with a bath. But it was established by King George I, and the purpose is historically from a military point of view, which now recognises both military and civil service to the nation. The Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George, which was founded in 1818 by King George IV, and the purpose is to honour those who have rendered service abroad to foreign affairs, such as diplomats, foreign aid workers, and Commonwealth representatives. And then we've got the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, which is established by King George V in 1917, which recognises a wide range of civilian and military achievements. And that is what breaks down into knight or dame, commander, officer, and member. And that's, the famous examples that we all know: Sir David Attenborough, Dame Judi Dench, Sir Mo Farah, and now Sir David Beckham.
Okay.
That's my explainer.
Mate, that's an explainer.
Thank you.
The interesting is the last batch there, the MBE, OB, and CBEs. The thing they're the ones I'm most familiar with. So I've met folks with MBEs and CBEs,
but they're not knights, so they don't get the title of Sir or Dame. But it is part of the order of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire.
Right.
It's an honour.
So what did Beckham get then?
So he got an OBE. Am I right?
No, he got an OBE before, so he already had an OBE, and he's recently got the Knight/Dame Commander. So the Knight Commander, meaning he is now Sir.
And why do you think he's got that?
Well, can we have a bit of a history of David Beckham? Because I didn't know who he was until this came out. No, of course I knew.
You didn't know who Starsky and Hutch was earlier,
no, I didn't know who
obviously.
Obviously, I know who. But give us because obviously I know he's a footballer and that he's a
footballer. He's a very, very good footballer.
And he played for, Real Madrid or something.
Manchester United.
David Robert Joseph Beckham was born in 1975 on the 2nd of May. He made a miraculous 394 league appearances professionally. And he was probably one of the most skillful, in my opinion, English footballers I've seen in my lifetime up to date. What I know of David Beckham after his Fly on the Wall documentary and whatever else, other than the bad press he's got over the years from being maybe just a footballer, he's a really, really, or strikes me as being a really, really down-to-earth family man. But also, he has used his influences massively to create some very, very rewarding charity experiences, such as, let me tell you what he's done.
He's got his notes out.
I have my notes out. Here we go. Research.
Let's hear it. What's he done?
He started a club called the Seven Fund. The 7 was the number he wore on his shirt. He has, up to date, for UNICEF, raised 10 million, did him an injustice there, £10 million, really? Of which £1 million of that was donated from his own money. He, at some point, played for PSG in his career, probably the best club in France.
Oh, okay, so that's a French football club?
Yes. The whole time he was there, he earned 3.4 million, which he then donated to 2 children's charities in France. He didn't take a salary. He also, obviously, as well as being one of the most famous people in the world today, is a family man. And I've had the debate, and it's their opinion, that David Beckham didn't deserve this recent accolade, of which I disagreed. Hence the reason of the discussion today. Your opinion, Scott?
Well, what was the justification from your friends and peers that he didn't deserve it? What was their rationale?
Maybe they didn't.
I'd like to hear their arguments first.
to be fair to them, just being a sportsman,
right,
being a footballer with nice haircuts and nice clothes and
he's
a
a bit
nice
more
wife.
than that, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of footballers that have been given knighthoods.
Unfortunately, Scott, that is what, obviously, some people take this view at a fairly basic level, and therefore then they create a debate with someone like me that feels as though a knighthood, obviously being a royalist myself,
right,
a knighthood should be bestowed on people like David Beckham.
Oh, well, I kind of agree, really. I think if you can make, when you're earning the kind of, the kind of money that he's been generating for a long time now as a both a sports person, as an entrepreneur as well, you can decide what you want to do with that money. You can just keep it and keep buying things and investing in more things, or you can kind of decide about giving a portion of that back, whether it's in its entirety or it's a portion of. What's the favourite? Not the famous racing car driver,
Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, he's very recently at a conference, I think, where the fella from Facebook, I'm all about the detail, Zuckerberg, was in the room, and he was saying, what is the point of being a billionaire? Why do we even have billionaires? What's the point? There has to be a certain point where you just don't need any more. And if all of the people that are in that bracket that have that kind of wealth, if they decided to not trickle it down, but give it back, what sort of an effect that would have on society? And I think the fact that Beckham, from what you're telling me, because I'm by no means an expert in him, I just broad brush know about him, is that if he's done things for charity and he has, there's the cynical side of it. It's like, well, it's tax, there's a tax benefit to giving away to charity, right? So rather than giving the tax money, just give it to charity. No, but I'm not saying that was his motive. I'm just saying there is that to it as well. But like we discussed off air, at the end of the day, were the outcome of his actions, were they positive? And you'd have to be crazy to say no, right? Because he's been incredibly influential, and he's inspired, young people across the world to be sports people themselves, and also by being an
role model.
Thank you. Well, 2 words, in fact.
That's where you threw me.
He's been a role model, hasn't he?
I'm just thinking, were the people who were against David Beckham getting this knighthood, was it specifically about David Beckham, or was it more about the concept
it's probably
of a knighthood and the monarchy?
It's probably a bit
in general, because I think
that
is often people's sticking point when it comes to knighthoods, when it comes to the monarchy, is this idea of, should the monarchy exist, and should we be continuing to put energy, time and attention into it?
That's my point, really, is that if the outcome is ultimately positive, then yes. Yeah. And the monarchy is the same thing. What is the point of the monarchy? What if we stopped it? What became a republic like France and we just didn't have one anymore? Like, would we benefit from that? And I think the answer would be no, not really, because tourism would be hit really hard.
That's for another show.
Yeah, but that's Will's fault. He brought the monarchy in.
He did. Do you know, actually, Will, certain people have declined, and it's probably down to their views of the monarchy.
Yeah.
Certain people have declined this honour.
That doesn't surprise me, because I think there's a lot of politics involved with getting a knighthood, isn't there? And I think when it comes to someone's personal brand, I can imagine there's a lot of sort of famous celebrities who have turned it down. But go on, tell us a few people who have turned it down.
I'll tell you that John Lennon turned it down.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
No,
that doesn't surprise me at all, because he was, especially towards the end of his life, he was very sort of anti-establishment. He was very much, peace in our time, and that is very much that sort of liberal view away from colonialism, away from the monarchy. So
God, you're so well educated. What do those words mean? Okay, and Paul Weller.
Who's that?
Paul Weller. Come on.
Pebbles on the beach.
Oh my God.
Right. What's his name?
Paul Weller. As a musician, I cannot believe Paul Weller's been going since the early 1970s, and he's still producing music that is up to date today.
Literally what all old people do. They'll give you a random name and be like, how do you not know this as a musician?
Mate, he's moved with the times. Scott, has he moved with the times dramatically?
I can't abide Paul Weller.
Oh, you don't like him?
No.
Oh, okay. So we'll move on to Stephen Hawking.
No, I don't like him either.
Stephen Hawking. Did Stephen Hawking turn one down?
Yeah, he turned one down.
Why?
Why don't you like Stephen?
It's a joke.
You don't like Stephen Hawking?
He spells his name with a PH, actually, which is...
that's got a
that's
target
a
on his
good
back
reason for not liking him.
I wonder why Stephen Hawking's turned him down.
No, again, obviously...
Maybe it's because they kept involving footballers as well. It's like, I don't want to be part of that crew.
Well... But
Don't let anybody in these days.
You also, and this, listen, on Lichfield Radio, we're all about positivity, but you do get stripped of them as well, William.
Oh, as in getting them taken off.
Get them taken off of you.
So who's been stripped of?
I've got a couple here. Philip Green, do you remember him?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Right.
He was a look.
Philip Green.
Wasn't he the
He was the
retail
guy
empire?
yeah.
What did he do? Oh, here we go. So so he was a businessman.
That's fair.
Yeah. He pinch everyone's
He ripped
pensions?
off everybody's pensions, yeah. He was a bad guy.
So Philip Nigel Ross Green is a British businessman who was the chairman of the retail company Arcadia Group.
Yeah.
Oh, he owned Topshop, Top Man,
massive.
Miss Selfridge. He's a billionaire going back to that.
Yeah.
So what did he do?
He ripped everyone off.
Yeah, all his employees, you can imagine how many he had with all those stores. He took all their pensions.
Oh.
Simple as that.
So
As if he didn't have enough money.
Is he in prison?
Do you know what? I don't know whatever happened to him.
No.
I wasn't convinced he was still alive, but he obviously is.
Yes, he's still going. Who's next?
Lance Armstrong.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
What did Lance Armstrong do?
He was drug cheat.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He didn't murder his wife, though, did he? That's a different person.
That's the man with no legs.
Yeah.
Australian.
It's all about the detail on this show.
Yeah.
Wow. So when he was caught, because he was, I can't remember the name of it, he was taking out blood at a higher altitude to have a higher oxygenated percentage of his blood, and then he was duping that in halfway through his races to give him a cutting edge, wasn't he? So when he was found out, he was actually stripped of a knighthood, was he?
Yeah.
Wow.
For cheating.
And we should right again. You know, we shouldn't encourage cheating, should we?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Lichfield Radio encouraging cheating.
I don't think that's something we want to pin a tail on, no.
No.
Not really. Who else?
That's where I run out of page.
Is that the end of the list? Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you can be stripped of it. My question is, do you think the concept of a knighthood is an encouraging achievement for people to work towards?
100%.
Do you think that because this knighthood is out there and you are able to go and get it, you know, no longer is a knighthood almost a given privilege, it is a reward of hard work, which is why I am in favour of people like David Beckham receiving a knighthood, because it's not like he hasn't worked for it.
Oh, God, he's sacrificed, like most sportsmen, I think he's sacrificed everything to craft his art. You know, I was thinking actually when Scott was speaking, the 2012 Euros that we were happy to host in this country, bringing millions of pounds in tourism and whatever else. And that was partly down to David Beckham. He was one of the ambassadors that encouraged the panel to vote England and put us on the map as far as hosting the 2012 Euros. So, you know, the work that goes behind the scenes on that sort of level is beyond, you know, warranting this particular accolade, I think.
But then the devil's advocate would be, you know, even if he didn't have the knighthood, he still is rewarded for his hard work through his, you know, financial standing, his celebrity status. So the question is, what would we get if we took away the idea of knighthoods? You know, would there be a benefit there? Would there be a negative impact?
I think you'd have to be David Beckham, and I think you'd have to be somebody that's been given a knighthood to be able to answer that question more pragmatically, I suppose, because we don't know, do we? We may have won an award or something, and we know how that made us feel when we got the award.
Does that have any negative effect?
I don't know. I mean, I think the only thing that I've kind of witnessed when these kind of discussions have taken place is what about this, that, and the other person that should have had a knighthood that just aren't recognised because they're not David Beckham? I think maybe, and it could be music awards, it can be film awards. We all know that a lot of those are funded by the companies that behind the companies, right? So you'll have somebody that's won like Best Artist of the Year, for example, and it's like, how did they even get there when there's all these other incredibly creative artists? But even the idea of an awards system is fraught with, it's a minefield, isn't it? Really. For David Beckham, I would have thought it would just be the fact that it's another thing that he can pin his hat on that makes him feel proud. But I don't think. I mean, whether he financially benefits from it or not, I would think he's fairly academic at that level anyway. Does it inspire people to work harder because they want to get a knighthood? What does it mean? And I think it's a big old question.
Yeah, I don't think there's any negativity around it. I think people create negativity around it because they disagree with it. But as you were speaking there, and the old, I don't know why I thought this, going off completely on a tangent, but the sports day thing, where you can't win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it's all about
what is that all about?
What's this? Sorry.
Well, I've got an interesting angle on that one with you. With sports days now, when you with me, it's going to see my grandkids. Nobody gets a medal or a badge or a sticker.
You can't win a race.
You can't win a race now. It's all about the competing. The interesting thing about, I've been to a sports day where that happened. I don't know if you have, where that's a thing now.
Right.
And honestly, the kids had just as much fun as whether they'd won on anything or not. Honestly, they didn't really care about that. And they were just as competitive with each other as possible. What we did do, and I still, even though I saw it for what it represents now, with a fairly judgy of like, how ridiculous people have to win things, otherwise how are they motivated, blah, 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 blah. But the kids that didn't like being in that environment, of which there seems to be more now than there used to be, but I don't know but I kind of think it's just awareness, isn't it, now more? They seemed happier to be able to just bail and not be involved and just take a break out for it. It boils into the mental health side, doesn't it?
There's still a winner though, because they might not get a medal for getting first place, but they still win the race.
No, they don't.
Well, I mean, let's say if they did a 50-meter sprint, someone's going to get to the finish line first.
Yeah, but they don't recognise it as the winning.
But they must, they must sort of feel, that individual who wins the race will still look around being like, I got here first. And maybe they're not rewarded because of that, but there's still that internal feeling of, I'm the fastest.
I didn't see any actual running races where it was really obvious who the winner was. It was more collaborative exercises where it was very difficult to see who the winner was. They were just doing stuff. Like beanbags being into hoops and into beanbags. So by the end of it, nobody really knew. I was like, what's just happened? But they were just in, and this always taking part that makes the difference, not the winning.
But there's always a balance. There's always a balance with these things, because yes, we shouldn't be like absolutely cramming in that winner mentality for every single thing and just be creating a culture where everything is about striving to be the best, because that creates a huge amount of problems. But at the same time, we should be encouraging that attitude a little bit. There's a balance, isn't there? I
love this conversation. If this is a byproduct of your knighthood conversation, you're a genius. This is a great conversation.
Yeah, I was leading us down this way.
It's been planned all along.
For me, and I can only use my own personal experience, I lost everything in 2012, business-wise and whatever else. And I use the word lost because you learn a great deal from losing.
Is this when you lost your shop?
Yes. So you learn and the stock, and just about held on to the house. So it was a big, big thing in my life. But from there, I learned an awful lot, and we're halfway back up and everyone's happy. My point of telling that little snippet of story, my own personal experience, is that winning and losing, when my son got released from Leicester Tigers, that evening was probably one of the worst evenings in our family's history today. Having to deal with my son getting released from the professional rugby side, that he had put his hat on, becoming a sportsman. But he's now in America under a rugby scholarship, living his best life. Learning that Leicester Tigers and being a professional wasn't everything. So taking it back to the sports day thing, You lose and you learn.
But the sort of counter to that would be almost, if your son had been raised to not have such a everything depends on this moment, and the fact that I've lost that is going to put me into such a dark, horrible place, he might have been able to cope with it in a healthier way, still got to where he is, but just not had such a dramatic hit from it.
Maybe I didn't explain myself correctly there. Me and his mother never put the pressure on that he was going to be a professional rugby player. I think once you get scouted by a particular team like that, and then you're under their wing for 2, 3, 4 years, the expectation of the individual is more so than the parent.
So do you think if you had also put that expectation on his shoulders of, son, we want this for you, this is...
Oh, that would have been awful.
That would have been even worse.
Yeah,
exactly.
Worse.
So there's that balance point there, isn't there, between how do we help our sort of... And this does come back to the knighthood conversation, because it is about, is that endless striving towards a knighthood? And as you can see here, there are 5 ranks of different knighthoods available. So is it just encouraging people to continuously strive rather than being comfortable in what we have?
Well, I would say yes, Scott. I would say yes. And I would say people now in David Beckham's position, footballers alike, what an honour to go in front of the monarchy and be bestowed with that, be in Buckingham Palace, get the knighthood, whatever. So imagine, I don't know, the Bellinghams of this world nowadays, Harry Kane just going into a World Cup soon and whatever else, they're going to be seeing the David Beckham thing. And surely that encourages them to go down the same path and hopefully get the same recognition. And how do they get that recognition? They help people within the world via charity and things like that. So it obviously leads, in my opinion, it leads to positivity. Positivity leads to positivity. Negativity leads to negativity.
And that is 28 minutes.
Well, that concludes the first 3 wise men. I think that went extremely well.
The ironically titled 3 wise men.
You know what? I said
2 maybe.
I said that.
3.
No, you put yourself down. I said that to my wife today.
Right.
I said it's very ironic that they've asked me to co-host the 3 wise men, considering I wear one of those hats.
Dunce's caps.
Yes. I'm not sure how politically correct that is. That's why I didn't mention it. But you just did. Maybe I should have.
Is that a politically incorrect word?
Probably.
I don't know. It's probably politically incorrect to say that now you're a dunce.
Well, it depends on the origin of the word, doesn't it? Because if it hasn't been used,
look at these youngsters, Scott. They're straight into the book, aren't they? And here we go.
It depends on the sort of the history. Because if it was just an insult to call someone stupid,
it's mild. It's a mild insult, apparently.
Yeah. If it's just an insult on someone's intelligence, then it wouldn't be politically incorrect. If it was an insult against a protected characteristic like sex, race, gender, then it would be politically incorrect.
I don't think you can get away calling somebody a dunce.
It's the only bun I know.
That could be all
it was
manner
used
of
for children who were disruptive or were considered slow in learning. So yeah, it could be. It's just probably one of those that you should be like, probably should avoid. I prefer the word doofus.
Oh.
Have you not heard that before?
Gonk. I like the word gonk.
Oh, that's got to be.
I have heard the word doofus, I think. You're a bit of a doofus.
Gonk is all right. What is a gonk?
It's a
toy.
furry creature toy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a whimsical bearded decorative figure resembling a festive gnome or taunt.
You thought that was a really bad word, didn't you?
I did actually. I was like, oh, that's got to be terrible. That is.
You flipping gonk.
Can you give me a wink when you're going to say the word?
No, you've just got to get better at pressing the button.
Yeah. Oh well.
I thought it was going to be something. I thought when I read that it was going to be describing a furry. As in someone who likes to dress up like an animal.
Oh, I've heard about the furries.
Furries. It can be a sexual thing, but it's often just dressing up as an animal and pretending. See, this is like when you talk about, Bill Ditherington or whatever.
This is another show right there.
Yeah, and we're well over 30 now.
Yeah,
so
we're going to get a furry in.
Yeah, we could talk about that next. We need an opposing view on furries.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining us, folks. This has been the Three Wise Men. We are wising out.